Basically lifted up this week. I was looking at this sermon text, and it reminded me of something I hadn't thought about in a long time. When I was 18, I went with the scouts out to northern New Mexico, southern Colorado. There's a big scout camp out there, and spent about 2 weeks there. And it's one of the camps where, when we got there, they welcomed us, and they didn't say we will lift you up in a chair. What they said is, "This is the place where we teach you how to touch the sky. Welcome to Crater Lake. We teach you how to touch the sky," which made no sense to me whatsoever, because it was actually down in the valley. But the longer I was there, I began to understand it, because this used to be a logging camp. And in the 19th century, this is where a lot of hardwood was cut, and they still taught a lot of the skills that a lumberjack at that time needed to know. And the one I remember best was how to climb a tree with spikes on your heels. Now, you don't see this much today. Some of us are old enough to remember we could see county landmen doing it, but there was a time before cherry pickers and bucket trucks, when if you wanted to go up a tree, you strapped a spike onto each one of your heels, and then you threw a big leather belt around whatever it was that you were going to climb, whether it was a tree or whether it was a telephone pole, and you would spike your way up the tree, and then every once in a while pull the leather belt up, and you could work your way all the way up the tree. My grandfather did this in the French Canadian woods when he first came to this country. So I thought this would be kind of cool to learn. You put these spikes on your heels, and you throw that belt around, and it hooks onto a harness that goes around your back side, so when you lean back, and you straighten out your legs, and you stand there all day if you want. And when I got out to do it, I did what they told me and put all the gear on, and then he added one other piece of gear I had never seen before. It was a piece of rope. It went all the way up to the top of this pole that I was going to climb. It was about the size of a standard telephone pole. And it went through a carabiner, and then it came back down, and it hooked onto my harness right here right here on the front of my climbing harness. And the other end was held by this guy who was known affectionately as the mule. And it was a safety conveyance, I guess, they came up with. They decided if you parted ways with the tree or with the telephone pole, that there would be somebody who was going to stop you. But I wasn't really paying attention to him. I was really looking forward to trying this thing out. And it's not hard. It's really not hard. You just stick your heel into the tree, and the spike catches hold of the wood, and you just go up like a spider up a drain pipe. And I was doing really well, and I got to the top. And an 18-year-old me with somewhat less of mass than I am now. And I was looking around, I was appreciating the Sierra Madres, and suddenly the belt slipped. It went from down here to up here. And I got to know really well what a smallmouth bass feels like when someone is beginning to reel it in. It completely pulled my spikes out of the tree that I was in. And I was just dangling from that line up there. And because I was flush up against the tree, my chest slammed into the tree. And because this belt was so tight, I couldn't breathe. And I kept looking down, and I couldn't yell. I didn't get lungs full enough to yell. And I just hung up there for a while. And I saw the mule down there, and he was talking to other people. He was holding me up, but he wasn't letting me down. And I was thinking, what kind of jerk is this? Now I know why they call you a mule, because you're about as thick-headed as a mule. Why don't you do your cotton picking job and let me down? Fix this situation. Now, the reason I thought of that when I read this text from this week, especially the one from the New Testament, is Jesus is a mule. Jesus is really mule-y in this first miracle that we read about at the wedding of Cana of Galilee. I mean, he goes to this wedding, he's with his mom, and they run out of wine. And if you read this text with just a little bit of coffee under your belt, you realize he doesn't seem to really be very much in the game. He doesn't seem to really care much about what's going on. His mother says to him, "Son, they're out of wine." And my mother said, "Son, they're out of wine." That is code for get up, find your coat, put your keys on, go to the liquor store, get some wine. We're out of milk. Go do something with this. We got no water. Go down and check the water pump. The power's not on. Go check the fuse box. When your mother looks at you and says, "Do this," you do it. You do it, right? Husbands, wives, it's the same deal, right? Somebody needs to put the cat out. It's just, you just know this. You just know this. And Jesus basically looks at her and says, So, I love the way the text describes it. Woman, what does that have to do with me? Yeah, you got a problem? And then when he finally does get around to it, he doesn't kind of do a Harry Potter, alakadam, and we suddenly have Ernst and Julia Gallo right there in the middle of the wedding ceremony. Because this big, long, drawn-out thing. All right, I'll fix the problem. And he drags his feet. Okay, those water jugs, go fill those water jugs. Doesn't tell him why. Just go fill the water jugs. And this is not a lot of water. This is about 180 gallons of water that they have to schlep into the house. I mean, there's no indoor plumbing, so people are having to run the bucket brigade in the middle of a wedding reception. People are coming in and topping it off. And then he still doesn't tell them right off, this is going to fix the problem. He goes, now, dip some of that out and take it to the groom and the bride. Take that up there to the host. And the steward, you can almost see the steward draw a cup of it going, all right, man, it's on your watch. I'm just doing what you tell me, but I don't think this is going to fix it. And he takes it up, and then he finds out, oh my gosh, the thing has transformed. It has undergone metamorphosis. And the host drinks it, and then he gives the waiter who brings it up grief over that. But what's this all about? This is the best stuff. What'd you say the best stuff for? We should have used this first. Instead, you used it last. And Jesus is just kind of sitting back there. Jesus is the mule. Jesus is very difficult in this text. Why don't you just fix the problem? We're out of line. Fix it. You got an issue here. Make it right. Do what you're supposed to do. Why are you so surly? Why are you so ornery? What is the deal? Let me suggest two possible reasons why Jesus acted the way he did then and the way he behaves now. Let's go back to the beginning. Here's the wedding party. They're all together. Suddenly the belt slips, and they're dangling. We're out of line. We've got everybody in Cana here. The fire chief is here. The police chief is here. Small town, you know how it is. Everybody comes. There's nothing else to do but go to the wedding. Everybody's there. Oh my gosh. We didn't lay enough to go around for everyone. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And Mary, well-intentioned as she is, immediately thinks, I know what? My son will fix this. My son, the new rabbi, will do this. Jesus, do something. And Jesus, when Jesus looks at her and says, woman, what does that have to do with me? My hour has come. It's not being a jerk. What he's pointing out to her, as all well-intentioned people is, Mom, you're asking me to do this, but they haven't asked me to do this. This is their life. This is their wedding. This is their event. And there are many things, Mom, that God can do. There are all things that God can do. God is not limited in any way as we human beings are. God can know all. God can do all. God is not constrained by time or space. But there is one thing that God will not do, and that is force God's self on somebody. One of the blessings that God gives to everyone is freedom. And I will not violate that, Mom. I know that you mean well. But God does not force God's self on another. He blesses them. He gives them the choice itself to choose him or to reject him. But then God stands back and God says, now it's up to you. I love you, but will you love me back? There's an interesting novel by Isaac Asimov. It's part of the Foundation trilogy. And I paid a lot of attention to these books back when I was writing my master's, because there was a school of thought at that time that said, the time is not far off when we'll be able to, with a computer program, predict on how people will respond to God. We just take the demographic qualifications of a group of people and we program it in, and then we introduce the gospel, and we'll be able to predict how people will respond. Believe it or not, people like Karl Rove and his Democratic counterparts on the other side of the aisle do the same thing with votes. Amazon.com actually does this now. This is why they want to know what you buy, because then they can kind of predict what you may buy in the future. This is what those little tags that you get at the grocery store are all about. Every time you swipe it, and they track how much half and half you buy, or how many eggs you buy, or whatever. It's based on that kind of thought. Well, people were thinking we will be able to predict how people will respond to the gospel. And Asimov in his novel talks about a creature, who by the way is called the mule, who has the ability to make people love him. Whole armies go out to stop him, and they cannot, because when they get close to him, they are compelled to love him. They go from being his enemies to being his most devoted followers. And I remember reading that and thinking, that must be an awful lot of what God feels like. I mean, if God wanted to make God's life simple, he wouldn't have given you freedom. He would have made you all robots. You would have had no choice. You would have just automatically loved him. You would have done the right thing. Everything would have worked out fine. You know what I'm talking about, right? Freedom makes a lot of trouble. Because people are free to choose to do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. Funny thing about that novel, at the end of the novel, the mule kills himself. Because the mule realizes, no one ever chose me for me. They chose me because they had to. So when Jesus looks at Mary and says, woman, my time has not come, what does this have to do with me? One possible explanation is he is saying, God doesn't want robots. The God who is love wants people who love him back. Not because they have to, but because they choose to. Seems kind of simple, doesn't it? Maybe a little convoluted, but it's pretty straightforward. But you know, we're always losing track of that. There's always some Mary character running around saying, we've got a problem here, God. Fix it. Just fix it. Fix those people over there, God. Their problem. Would you please go and fix that? I don't think too many of the folks that are left nowadays who can remember the days of the Volstead Act. We have a problem. Let's fix it so we will outlaw alcohol. That will make all the problems that go along with free choice and make you stuck with alcohol to go away. And we went through this wonderful experiment called Prohibition. And it didn't work. Because the only thing that can change a person's heart is that person and what they're willing to do. I used to go to a private school in 7th and 8th grade. We had a behavior guy that looked like a New York phone director. It was incredible the amount of policy that these school administrators had generated. I mean, we had images on how long our hair could be. We had protocols set out for dress codes, so every morning all the girls would have to stand up and show that their skirts weren't too short. The guys had to show they had the right color socks on. There was even a statement in there about you could not wear colored underwear. I just like to point out, white is a color, okay? So, you know. And the presumption behind all this was, we are making godly students. Guys, the color of underwear you wear, or the length of the shortness of your skirt, or how long your hair is, those are external things. And the only thing that can make a person godly is a person who is willing to allow God to come into their heart. They were playing the role of Mary. They meant well, but they were going about treading on someone else's freedom in the process of trying to do good. Now, I'm going to get in trouble here, so please understand, I'm just thinking out loud. But does that not still continue? Our governor right now is very much concerned with religious liberty and wanting to make sure that no Hoosier's religious liberty is stepped upon, that it is violated in any way. And I wonder, as I watch him wring his hands and furrow his brow and try to understand how best to do that, if he senses a similarity between himself and Mary. I want the right thing to come out. I want there to be a solution to this problem. And I wonder if in some way the Holy Spirit will speak to him and say, what does this have to do with me? God is the source of all freedom. No one can take it away. And not even the good state of Indiana is required to step up and protect that freedom. I'm just thinking out loud, right? I'm not trying to tell you how to vote. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. I'm just trying to say sometimes the best of intentions get us into such trouble, such problems. That's one reason maybe why Jesus was such a mule. There's another reason too, which is closely related to it. Instead of just saying, okay, here's what I'm going to do, and showing them a PowerPoint on how he's going to transform water into wine, instead of giving them a position paper, instead of putting standing up on a chair at the wedding and saying, okay, attention everybody, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe one of the reasons that Jesus went about doing this miracle in the way he did was he was intentionally drawing it out. And by drawing it out, he was allowing the things that didn't matter to have their moment and to pass away, so that the thing that did matter could finally come out clear. There's a weird thing that you run across if you ever read the New Testament in Greek. It's the way the word time is used. There is kairos time. That's a Greek word, kairos. It's where we get our word chronometer from, otherwise known as a watch. It means the passing of time. It's what you're probably doing right now, thinking, oh, will he ever be quiet? So you go ahead. No, that's chronos time, or kairos time. But there's another kind of time. Helios time. It's the kind of time that the Bible has in mind when it says, in the fullness of time, this happened. This is God's time, not our time. Helios time is that moment when all the things that seem to have mattered pass away, so that finally the ground is clear and we can see that we have been in God's presence all along. And I can't help but wonder if some of this Helios isn't caught up in, hey, let's run the bucket brigade. Let's wear ourselves out here a little bit. Let's do a lot of pointless work so that we can see the one who really is at work. Maybe this is about when he gives these kind of oblique instructions, like, here, take this up and give it to the bride and the bridegroom, without explaining it's turned water into wine. Maybe he really was about what the host said when he said, you have saved the best for last. He was giving everybody a chance to clarify the situation and to see, wow, this really is a miracle. Not that water turned into wine, but the Son of God himself is at this wedding. Is this a phenomenon that you've experienced in some way? Do we live Helios time sometimes? I mean, we think it's Kairos time. We think it's, okay, I got to get this done by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I got to be here or there. I got this honey-do list of things I've got to do. And then none of it happens the way you think it's supposed to happen. And instead, something much better happens. I think we should know that. Living in this part of the world, I was talking to Susie Beamer, I was talking to about this text this week. We were laughing about Pearson Keeler, and he says, you know, when you live in this part of the world, you have a better appreciation of Helios time than you would if you lived in Tucson or Miami. You know, there, you don't have winter trying to kill you 3 or 4 times a year, and you just assume that my time is the most important thing. Here, we can't do that. You get up and there's 2 inches of ice on your car, or there's a foot of snow, and you just have to slow down. And sometimes those slowdowns, as inconvenient as they are great blessings. Because you realize, hey, life is going on. It's just not going on according to my specifications. And that's a good thing. I think about this new mother who's got this new baby. And those of you who have children know what I'm talking about. You have your assumptions about what your kid's going to do, right? They're going to grow up and they're going to be the president. And they're going to be brilliant. They're going to go to Yale or Cornell. Everything's going to be fine. And then that kid gets involved with it and you realize, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's going to be completely different from that. Another Keeler quote, he said, it was the first year in Lake Wobegon, nobody prayed at graduation, and not a parent minded a bit, because they realized that to be a parent is nothing but 18 years of prayer. Please, God, please. And in those prayers, all those assumptions that you have about your child and what their life is going to be like, they fall away until you finally see who that person really is. And by the way, you see who you are as well. Married folks, isn't it the same way? All right? Oh yeah, you get all dressed up and you jump the broom and they cut the cake and there's mint and there's punch and then the real work begins. And you realize, I gotta live with this person the rest of my life. Oh my gosh, for better or for worse. And that word worse takes on a whole new meaning. Nobody explained this to me, and you know, if they had tried, I probably wouldn't have understood anyway. That's T. Leo's time. And Wabash Christian, just thinking out loud again. Isn't that kind of what we're living now? I look back at policies, and I listen to you guys talk about the past, the far past and the recent past. And there have been some train wrecks, right? There is some wreckage, and we still are binding up some wounds. But maybe, just maybe, like that bucket brigade at Canaan, and those cryptic instructions that Jesus gave to the host, maybe what's been happening is Delios. The things that seem to matter so much turn out not to. And that all along, the best has been saved for last. And that what has made us God's people, as lovely as this building is, it's not this building. As venerable as some of our traditions are, they are no replacement for God. As much as we appreciate one another's company, and as much as we miss our winter people, the people who are not here anymore, the thing that brings this place to life and keeps it living is the Holy Spirit. What do these things have to do with me, Jesus says. I come to save the best for last. I don't want you to have a building. I don't want you to have policy. I don't want you to have tradition. I want you to have me. And I'm willing to take as long as it takes until all those things that pretend to be me fall flat on their faces and you get the real deal. It took a while, but the mule finally did let me down. Obviously, I'd still be up there. And when I got down and I got my lungs full of air, I had a few words to share with the mule. I was like, listen, man, if it was me holding the rope, I would have made a noose on one end, and you would have been staying up there a lot differently than I did. I'm going to tell you what, could you not see that I was distressed up there? Could you not see I was not enjoying myself? Could you not see that that was not fun for me? And he said, no, all I could see is you have a pretty big head, and it would have busted like a melon if I dropped you. And I thought about that, and I said, you know, you're right. And we had a good root year over that. I got something more than a quick fix. I got a Savior. So it seems to me with us. And that, so it seems to me, is the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. And that I know by Kairos is the end of this lesson. Let's say we pray.